Philippines for news you can trust.
Ako si Ruth Cabal. Ito ang newsroom ngayon. Balita at serbisyo para sa Pilipino. Sinabi na rin ng gobyerno na kailangang paigtingin ang contact tracing. Maraming buhay ang nawala sa pananalasa ng sunod-sunod na bagyo. Usapan natin yan kasama si Education Undersecretary Diosdado San Antonio. Lulunsad bukas ang Green EDSA Movement. Ika nga, if you can't pay it back, pay it forward sa pagtatayo ng isang community pantry. Narito mabilis sa pasada ng mga balitang dapat niyong malaman. Ito ang newsroom ngayon.
Every night, we take a hard look at the stories and provide you with multiple points of view from here and around the world. Now, we'll bring you more news you can use from the trading floor and the global markets and bring you more news you can trust in business and finance. Buy, sell, hold on The Final Word, weekdays at 9 p.m. only on CNN Philippines.
This is Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Tonight on the program, as relief goods and cash aid come in trickles for thousands of typhoon victims, a ravaged community near the popular tourist destination, the Underground River in Palawan, is appealing for immediate help. In the countdown to 2022, some Filipinos trooped to the so-called fireworks capital in Bulacan, while others to supermarkets for their medianoche products. And the controversial Dolomite Beach reopens just in time for the New Year revelries. Beyond grappling with hundreds of lives lost, people in areas that took a hit from Typhoon Odette suffer billions of pesos in damage to their livelihood that was wiped out in a single sweep. In Palawan, the estimated overall damage has reached 7.8 billion pesos. A number of tourist attractions in the province have been affected, including a community living near the world-famous Underground River. Tristan Odalo joins us live from the capital, Puerto Princesa. Go ahead, Tristan.
Pia, destructive winds, storm surge that lasted for 8 hours. That's how powerful Typhoon Odette was when it hit the area. The area used to be a jump-off point for tourists who want to travel or explore Palawan's Underground River. Now, residents there are facing two grim realities: the COVID-19 pandemic and Typhoon Odette's aftermath. What used to be a paradise and haven for tourists wanting to experience Palawan's Underground River has been wiped out. Typhoon Odette battered Purok Dalampasigan in Sitio Sabang, whose residents depend on fishing and tourism for livelihood. Fisherman Roderick Luzara says they did their best to save their boats, but to no avail. Out of 87 tourist boats used to service the Underground River, only 20 were recovered.
Yung alon talaga, hindi namin makalimot-limot. Hanggang ngayon, yung ibang mangingisda, halos ayaw pang kuhan dahil doon sa nangyari.
Some boats are no longer fit to be used, with some fishermen salvaging what's left of them and convert them to firewood.
Wala naman kaming hanap buhay na eh. Simula nung COVID, ang inabot ng audit, kung sa COVID medyo nakabangon-bangon na kami. umabot itong COVID na ito na. Parang hindi namin alam kung saan kami mag-uumpisa ulit.
Around 100 families have been directly affected and left with damaged houses and boats in this portion of Sitio Sabang. They complain about the lack of aid coming into their community. Aside from relief goods, they also appeal for materials to repair their boats and save their livelihood.
1990 po ako ditong dumating ng Sabang. So ngayon ko lang po naramdaman yung hinagpis ng kalikasan sa amin ng Sitio Sabang. Marami po talaga. Hindi lang po marami, kundi total po talaga kami ditong naapektuhan.
Zero talaga sir, as in zero. Kasi hindi makapaghanap buhay. Ang kailangan namin, maitayo na namin ang aming mga bahay. Mabigyan sana kami ng pangbiling yero.
Luscious trees in nearby mountains, which also used to be a tourist attraction, were all uprooted by the storm. Residents from Sitio Sabang also tell CNN Philippines that they used to earn at least 1,000 pesos on a daily basis from tourism activities. Then they shifted to full-time fishing when the COVID-19 crisis happened. But after Typhoon Odette and with all their boats gone, now they're at a loss on how they can rebuild from this terrible tragedy. Back to you, PM.
Tristan, what are the local government's plans to help them rebuild their homes?
Pio, what we know so far is that the provincial government is now distributing at least 5,000 pesos cash assistance to residents affected by Typhoon Odette. But this has yet to reach the residents of Sitio Sabang. That is why they're appealing for help to private individuals or private groups, especially those who have visited the underground river in the past. And speaking of the underground river, we have yet to receive any update from city officials or provincial officials on the damage or possible assessment of the underground river, which is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Back to you.
Tristan Nodalo there reporting from Puerto Princesa in Palawan. From one famous tourist spot to another, this time the surfing island of Siargao in Surigao del Norte, many business establishments once bustling with tourists now reduced to rubble. As Chrissy Di Matulak tells us, some believe it may take more than just a year before locals can get back on their feet.
When warned of a strong typhoon coming, some residents and business owners admit they did not heed the call. From their experience, residents say storms come and go in the island. But all of that changed when on the morning of December 16th, the winds only got stronger and trees were starting to kiss the sand.
At the beginning, we were not scared. We thought like it's like normal typhoon because we've been living here for the last 5 years. We were in Boracay before that and we thought like, it's like strong wind, like keep on raining.
The stretch of the once busy streets of General Luna town is now in rubble, as structures were no match with nature's might and force. According to business owners like Ron Manalo, the typhoon could not come at a worse time. It came just when the island's tourism is starting to bounce back from the pandemic.
Para siyang two-punch combination, yung jab tsaka straight. So si pandemic, it's been for a while now. And then ito ngang si Odette. So I think mga a year or so, yun ang tsaka lang makakabalik ang Siargao.
Popular tourist destinations are in shambles. This used to be the Cloud9 Boardwalk, known worldwide as a surfing hotspot. Now it is left unrecognizable as it is left in ruins by the typhoon. The podium in Maasin where people would dive and take pictures was shredded to pieces. The surrounding trees have fallen. The famous coconut farm, which looked like a painting when standing from a hill, was left decimated. It will take time for these landmarks to recover, but people say team spirit in the island is so strong it will overcome any trial.
I'm very proud of everyone. I know this is a tough time and this was very unexpected. But seeing everyone, coming together and helping each other out, mapa-local man or the foreign locals who are here, nakakataba talaga siya ng puso seeing everyone, helping.
With the extent of the damage, it may take years to bring back the joy and vibe of this tropical paradise. People say this experience has taught them to take preventive evacuations more seriously, especially since nature's wrath is proven to be unpredictable. In Siargao Island, Chrissy Di Matulak, CNN Philippines.
In the aftermath of Typhoon Odette, President Duterte suggested the summary eviction of residents living near coastlines. He now clarifies resettlement sites have to be provided first. The Interior Department suggests the creation of a task force for this government response. Amor Santos has the details.
Assessing the aftermath of Typhoon Odette, Interior Secretary Eduardo Año lamented that some residents were not supposed to be in harm's way, while President Duterte offered a rather contentious solution.
Yung pong batas dapat 40 meters eastment from the shoreline, wala po talagang dapat nakatira dyan. Lesson natin yan sa Yolanda.
Summary eviction.
A maritime law expert says it's not that simple. Under the Urban Development and Housing Act, local government units, in coordination with the National Housing Authority, shall provide relocation or resettlement sites for persons living in danger areas.
So if he's going to say summary eviction, he would better have something, a resettlement site ready for these people that he's going to be evicting.
In his talk to the people on Monday, President Duterte softened his tone and clarified there won't be any demolition without relocation. The DILG says it's a massive problem and suggests the creation of yet another interagency task force for a whole-of-government approach. Its first order of business, determine the number of residents on coastal easements and which of them are priority. Batong Bakal says each LGU should use geohazard maps to identify vulnerable populations and safe resettlements. The Mines and Geosciences Bureau says its maps are up to date. According to one of its chief geologists, the maps were used in preparing for Typhoon Odette. Still, an early warning system does not guarantee zero casualties.
So if we can remove people from harm's way and provide them a better place to stay until they have their livelihood, why not?
The DILG admits this problem can't be solved with little time left under the Duterte administration. Batong Bakal says it should be on top of agenda of the next president.
We've known for years that we will be experiencing more extreme weather events. So there's no excuse to be still unprepared.
Amor Santos, CNN Philippines.
We're taking a quick break. When we return, the controversial Dolomite Beach of Manila Bay reopens to the public after months of closure. And some people looking to welcome the upcoming New Year with a bang decry the rising prices of fireworks. Details next here on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned.
Welcome to our world, where we empower our customers to determine their personal path to financial success. Introducing the Bancom Experience Program from Bank of Commerce, an exclusive membership program for a discerning few. Enjoy more personalized banking and access to exclusive benefits that suit your lifestyle, including a safer banking experience with the EMV debit card, higher EMV debit card withdrawal limits. Grow a successful and rewarding financial future with experience from Bank of Commerce. Visit Bank of Commerce online for more details.
Make a splash at mealtime with Pure Foods Seafood Delights. 100% real seafood goodness. Ready to serve in minutes. Pure Foods Seafood Delights. Eat so easy.
Pangarap ng bawat Pilipino. Hangarin ng Northern Cement.
Ahon, bangon, sulong!
Pinalaki ng Northern Cement ang kapasidad ng kanilang planta para steady ang supply ng sementong tigasin. Northern Cement Max Plus, Supreme at Max Pro.
Ahon, bangon, sulong!
Sa pagbangon ng mga Pilipino, saludo ako.
sa mga taong patuloy na humaharap sa hamon ng pagbabago.
Bilang isang ina, handa akong gawin ang lahat para sa kaligtasan ng aking mga anak.
Pandemya man, tuloy pa rin ang serbisyo para malinis ang kapaligiran. Serbisyong publiko para sa kaligtasan ng lahat.
Sa panahon ng krisis, ikaw, ako, magtulungan tayo. Saludo ako sa Pilipino.
You'd be surprised that even plants in your own backyard could add some oomph to your cocktail. I have here some fresh rosemary to give a spin on our classic Negroni, or as we'll call it, home garden mix. For this cocktail, you'll need, and for the tools, I'll cut a piece of my rosemary, then I'm going to torch it and trap it into my glass. Set it aside to let it smoke while we mix our drink. Get your mixing glass and combine all of your ingredients. Then we add our ice, and then we'll stir for about 30 seconds. Now we're going to grab our glass and add fresh ice. Strain and pour your cocktail. Garnish this with a fresh sprig of rosemary. And there we have our home garden mix made with GSM Premium Gin.
Amid the darkness, look on the bright side. Olympic gold medalist Heidelin Diaz is not only great at lifting weights, she also leads everyone in getting into the Christmas spirit of gift-giving. Hundreds of families in the communities of St. Joseph Chapel Community in Batasan, Quezon City, and Pagray Kogyo Urban Poor Community in Antipolo City received Pure Foods Noche Buena gift packs. All thanks to Heidelin and Pure Foods Golden Hearts.
Ngayon, medyo mahirap ang sitwasyon ng Pilipinas at kailangan tayo magkaisa sa pagbibigay ng Noche Buena. Sana po nagustuhan niyo po ang munting regalo namin ng Pure Foods. Para sa Pure Foods family, thank you so much po for doing this initiative. Nagbibigay po ito ng source of happiness and inspiration and hope sa bawat Pilipino.
This is just one of the ways Heidelin gives back this Christmas season. She believes that everyone deserves to celebrate with their loved ones over the delicious meals and treats we grew up sharing together.
Nagpapasalamat po kami kasi po kami po yung napili nyo na pagbigyan po ng tulong. Simula pa noon, ngayon lang ako nakatanggap ng ganito karami. Kaya maraming salamat po.
Hindi namin inaasahan to, kaya nagpapasalamat sa mga sponsor na nagbigay sa amin, lalo na sa inyo, Miss Heidelin. Masaya rin ako dahil para sa mga anak ko, matutuwa sila.
Christmas is definitely brighter this year dahil buo ang Pasko sa Paskong Pure Foods. I'm Sam Sidwani, CNN Philippines.
Welcome back to CNN Philippines. Yet another attraction in the city of Manila. The Dolomite Beach on Manila Bay reopens today, but you need to register online before you can take a stroll on the artificial white sand beach. Our Stanley Gajeta shows us the way.
The weather is fine and the sea breezes perfectly over Manila Bay. This is how people describe the ambience after experiencing the Dolomite Beach as it reopens after months of closure. Last October, a crowd of more than 100,000 visited the controversial Dolomite Beach. That's why the management decided to temporarily close the area. While they said earlier it would reopen to the public next year, they decided to reopen this holiday season.
Specifically, we want public to enjoy the holiday season, and nagkataon na itong ideal time, 28 up to 29. We considered everything, especially yung mga protocols natin, and as far as pandemic is concerned.
Days before the New Year, the Dolomite Beach here in Manila Bay reopens, but compared to previous months, the number of visitors coming in the beach is now controlled. Despite the threat of the new Omicron variant of COVID-19, people still want to visit this 140-meter-long beach. Visitors love sightseeing and taking of pictures with their loved ones here. Most of them will return to work by early January.
Narinig lang namin yung sa kasama ay yung sa katabi ng bayan na nagja-jogging, naka-open daw ngayon. Tumakbo kagad kami. Iba talaga yung makakapasok ka, di ba? Medyo ma-enjoy mo talaga ang sarili mo.
This visitor from Tarlac decided to see the beach first before meeting her friend.
Noon pa, may mga nagpupunta ng tao dito. Sabi ko sa mister ko, minsan pasyalan natin.
There are available portalets in the area with enough authorities to monitor that visitors follow minimum health protocols and physical distancing. The management also prohibits littering, bringing of pets, and even swimming.
Be very safe in maintaining yung security at kasi of course yung kapakanan ng ating mga kababayan.
The beach is open for vaccinated ones aged 12 years old and up. It only accepts 200 walk-in visitors and 100 registered online visitors per batch, which lasts for 1 hour. The link and QR code for online appointment system are posted on DENR's Facebook page. It is open for public from 6:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. until tomorrow and will resume on January 4, 2022. Stanley Gaete, CNN Philippines.
The husband of the country's 4th Omicron case tests positive for COVID-19. The health department says the man is a 37-year-old Filipino who arrived from the U.S. with his wife on December 10th on a Philippine Airlines flight. He is in isolation and his sample will undergo genome sequencing. The DOH is determining the people whom the couple came into contact with on the flight. State insurer PhilHealth calls on private hospitals to reconsider their plan to conduct what they call a PhilHealth holiday. The Private Hospitals Association of the Philippines earlier urged its members to temporarily stop accepting PhilHealth claims between January 1st to 5th of next year. The group says the move is to show support for hospitals that have decided to cut ties with PhilHealth over unpaid claims. But PhilHealth says it is people who will suffer the consequences. The state health insurer adds hospitals that are supposedly planning to disengage have not submitted official documents. The insurer also maintains it is working to fast-track its settlement of claims. Stated straight ahead on Newsnight, Filipinos heading to Bocaue, Bulacan, known as the fireworks capital of the country ahead of the new year, but buyers are disappointed with the increase in prices. More after the break.
Ngayong pandemic, serving others is the best. Sa pagtutulungan, patuloy ang ating laban sa buhay. Kaya dapat always healthy. With proper diet, exercise, and MX3 coffee mix to ignite my day.
Hi guys!
Lagi akong focused, active, at extraordinary. Because the most important things in life deserve nothing less. MX3 coffee mix, my choice.
Love is all about time. Di minamadali ang pagpapasarap. Like the love in every Pure Foods ready-to-eat. Slow-cooked and ready in 8 minutes. Para may time ka sa mga mahal mo. Because love takes time.
For ghosts, there's no place like home.
This main house has something in it.
And home is Discovery Plus. Freak out on all the episodes of Ghost Adventures.
Whatever is up in that room doesn't want us there.
I heard that. Discovery Plus is here, the exclusive home of Ghost Adventures. Subscribe now at 129 pesos per month.
For my babies, only vet-approved Nutri-Chunks puppies. The only one with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat with essential nutrients to help them grow strong and healthy. Happiness! Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks puppies.
Tumagal tayo sa dilim, laman tayo ng nightlife. Now it's time to live the light life. Let's have Sandvik Light with the sun out. Hindi lang panggabi ang bonding natin. Any hour is now happy hour. As you drink up the light life, gumagaan ang feeling. Ang katapusan ng bawat kwento, may inuumpisa ang bago. Get into the light life.
Ngayong Pasko, huwag sana nating kalimutang pasalamatan ang mga frontliners na patuloy na nagsasakripisyo.
Ang mga frontliners na 24 oras ang serbisyo.
Alay ng frontliners ang kanilang buhay para sa kapakanan ng sambayan ng Pilipino.
Ang ating mga frontliners, ang mga bagong bayani ng bayan.
Mula sa amin, para sa mga mahal nating frontliners, maligayang Pasko at manigong bagong taon! Frontliners, kayo ang bida!
Now, the hallmark of a birria taco is the delicious slow-cooked meat filling, and it usually has a side of a savory broth to dip the signature fried tacos in. Sounds delicious, right, Chef?
That's right. And usually, to achieve that wonderful and tasty meat, it would take about 4 to 6 hours to slow cook. However, today, we are going to show you a life hack so you can easily enjoy these birria tacos at home in under an hour, using, of course, our Pure Foods corned beef.
You guys are gonna love this, and you can even make this a fun family activity for the weekend, and Chef here will show you exactly how it's done. Let's go, Chef.
All right, so here are the ingredients. Now let's prepare first the filling and its sauce. Heat oil in a pan and then saute garlic and onions until onions are tender. Add tomato paste and continue to saute. Add the corned beef and spices and continue sauteing for about a minute. Add crushed tomatoes, water, and simmer for 10 minutes over low heat, stirring occasionally. Add soy sauce and sugar. Then lastly, add the cilantro. Now strain to separate the corned beef filling from the dipping sauce. To make the tacos, mix all the ingredients until smooth and knead for about 15 minutes. Divide the dough into 15 small balls and rest this for about 30 minutes. Now roll out each ball into 6-inch diameter pieces. Meanwhile, heat the pan on high and then cook each taco for about 30 seconds on each side. Now to assemble, place every 2 tablespoons of corned beef filling on each taco and then garnish with extra cilantro. Now serve this with its sauce and lime wedges.
And now for my favorite part, the taste test. Okay, I want to try this. So how do I do this, Chef? Tip. Gotta get the sauce.
Yes.
Gotta get all the sauce.
Lots of the sauce.
They're so good.
I'm glad you like
My
it.
kids and hubby will definitely enjoy this wonderful birria. Oh my gosh, it's like the real thing.
Alam mo naman, ang Pure Foods corned beef takes care of the pure sarap families are craving for.
I agree with you there, and this recipe is so enjoyable to make, and you end up with such a yummy dish. So mommies, you should all try this at home. So right now, stock up on your supply run, stock on Pure Foods corned beef, which is available in all leading supermarkets, and you can even add to cart Pure Foods corned beef on your favorite e-commerce sites, Lazada and Shopee, or buy online at the SMC.
Welcome back. We are now counting down to 2022, and this early, revelers are starting to ring in the new year with a bang, literally. More people traveling to Bocaue in Bulacan to stock up on fireworks. As our Rex Media reports, prices are already going up.
Bobby Yulo came all the way from Makati City, braving Bocaue, Bulacan's heavy traffic, just to buy some fireworks for his family's New Year celebration.
Tradisyon na yung pagka medyo kahit papaano may pailaw ka sa salubong ng New Year.
He noticed, however, he's now getting less from his money's worth compared to previous years.
Dating 10,000, marami nang nabibili. Ngayon, 14,000, ayan lang.
Retailer Elvira Navarro explains they're also getting less supply at higher prices from manufacturers. She says raw materials from abroad are not enough. they have no choice but to also jack up their prices.
Dapat may tubo ka kahit papano. Kasi siyempre may inupahan ka, may tao ka.
Elvira says they're missing the opportunity now that more people are buying fireworks after last year's muted revelry.
Lungkot nung nakarang year. Ngayon,
medyo okay na. Hindi malaya, no?
Authorities, meanwhile, are seeing another challenge, the presence of uncertified fireworks. During their inspection in Bocaue, 6 stalls were caught selling uncertified fireworks products. They sealed and confiscated the items. The retailers and manufacturers also have to explain to the DTI.
It could be that it was manufactured by a manufacturer that does not have a license. Or, even if the manufacturer has a license, that product, which we have confiscated, sealed and confiscated, is not included in the license.
If you're buying some fireworks, make sure there's a PS mark or the Philippine Standard Quality and Safety mark. This is important to make sure the product you're getting is safe and legal.
Trade Department officials also monitored groceries to check prices of Medianoche items. She says pasta, mayonnaise, cheese, among others, are still within their suggested retail prices. They notice, however, that there's almost no supply of ham and queso de bola in this supermarket in Caloocan City. Officials say this might mean retailers are not expecting this much demand from consumers, a sign that more people want to move on from the pandemic and celebrate the coming year. Rex Remitio, CNN Philippines.
And before we go, the Caped Crusader is back in this new trailer for The Batman starring Robert Pattinson. Fans of Catwoman bound to get excited too. The new teaser highlights Batman's relationship with Selina Kyle, played by Zoe Kravitz. You also catch a glimpse of the Riddler and his cryptic messages. Take a look.
It can be cruel, poetic, or blind. But when it's denied, it's through violence you may find
justice. The answer's justice.
Come on, vengeance. Let's get into some trouble.
The Batman set to arrive in local theaters March 2022. We have 3 more days before 2022 or before 2021 ends, and that is it for now. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
He once served as councilor of the City of Manila and led the Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission. He ran for senator in 2013 and 2016, but lost. Now, Greco Belgica is having a third shot at it. Joining us live for an up-close conversation, senatorial aspirant Greco Belgica. Greco, thank you so much for joining us. Your father was the PDDS party's original presidential candidate, substituted by Senator Bongo, and now has withdrawn from the race. Are you disappointed that Senator Go is no longer running for president?
Well, the announcement, of course, surprised us. It was not part of, although we were expecting something, a decision, we were expecting it to be to turn the other way around. However, things happen as it is, and we as a party are set to sit down, talk about it, together with our principals, our leaders, President Duterte and Senator Bongo, to determine the next steps for our party. Dahil, Senator Bongo, saying that he will be withdrawing, will affect, of course, the campaign. So
Right.
we have to, we have to determine our next steps.
So what is the next
But nothing's
step?
final
Who
po
will the
until-
PDDS now support and endorse for president?
Yeah, that's exactly the main agenda of the meeting. So I rushed back to Manila. I was at the north organizing our party. But then because of these things that happened, we have to come back and sit down and seek audience and a meeting with President Duterte and Senator Bongo, anytime soon. So, yeah, the party has to.
Greco?
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, the party has to talk about it as a party.
Okay, so will PDDS endorse the candidate that President Duterte and Senator Bongo will endorse, or could PDDS go its own route, could endorse another
No.
candidate?
No, definitely not. The PDDS is the President and Senator Bongo's party. It was organized to pursue the aspirations of the President,
Right.
even after his term has end. So, of course, yung sasabihin niya po ay maging importante sa tatahakin ng PDDS, who is still supporting and is still giving his 100% support to the President and Senator Bongo.
All right, Greco, let's take a look at your mandate in government over the past few years as former Presidential Anti-Corruption Commission Chair. How many government officials have been relieved of their duties and cases filed against them due to corruption?
Cases have been filed. 154 cases has been filed against high-ranking government officials. Over 1,000 cases has been investigated, and 30,000 reports and complaints has been acted upon by the PACC. The PACC has only jurisdiction over presidential appointees. When reports against corruption extends up to the barangay and elected officials. So that made it very, very difficult for us to act. Act on most cases, especially those that did not belong to our jurisdiction. We had to endorse this and seek support from other agencies. And these are one of the major reforms that we would like to bring into the Senate, is to expand jurisdiction, give more power, propose anti-corruption police force that will strengthen the anti-corruption campaign of the president or of the country. The PACC has only very limited power because its power only stemmed from the powers of the president.
Right.
So, but just the same, all this work and the anti-corruption campaign that was led by the president, implemented by the PACC, produced fear in the hearts of all government officials, whether it is appointed or elected within our jurisdiction or not, to get into corruption. There is still corruption, don't get me wrong. However,
Yes.
it is not as bad as it was before.
Yeah.
Kung baga ko ngayon, tagong-tago.
But
ang
of course,
corruption.
the president is the most powerful person in the country. So you also have extra powers to basically put people behind bars, Greco. And when we posted on social media that you were our guest, there were comments that you were just a small fry catcher and the PACC's initiatives are just lip service, all just talk and no action. What do you have to say to this?
Well, those are not true dahil records will bear for us, Ang mga inimbestigahan po namin are not small fry. They were secretaries, undersecretaries, assistant secretaries. Those people that the president would read would mostly be PACC results. Hindi namin kayang magpakulong dahil hindi po kami korte. We are authorized to recommend to the president and endorse or file cases with the ombudsman after we have investigated the case. Yun po ang pinakamalaking problema dito sa justice system natin. Pagkatapos naming imbestigahan, ipapasa namin sa ombudsman para imbestigahan ulit yung imbestigahan na namin. Tapos ipapasa na naman nila sa sandigan para imbestigahan ulit yung imbestigahan namin dalawa. Dapat po ang mga opisina kagaya namin ay magkaroon ng kapangyarihan, pakulong na yung mga naimbestigahan na po namin. At apat po ang opisina namin ay magkaroon ng opisina sa lahat ng ahensya ng gobyerno hanggang sa barangay at LGU, kagaya po ng inilatag namin nung I was PACC chairman, nalilagyan ko po ng anti-corruption committees ng lahat po ng offices sa gobyerno.
So Greco, how do you plan to change this if you become senator? Because you've recommended all of these corrupt officials, no? And you've passed it on to the ombudsman. But we haven't really seen any big fish behind bars. What will you do if you are senator to change this system?
You can do it through law, no po? Nakaset up po pong structure dyan, like the Office of the Ombudsman. So through the Senate, then you can propose laws and strengthen offices like the PACC. We have jailed through entrapment, working together with the NBI and the Philippine National Police, 24 government officials. Po, if we had the power to jail everyone, then lahat po na-imbestigahan namin, nakulong po yan. And you can ask po ang mga Bureau of Customs, BIR, BI, DPWH, ang dami-daming proyektong nagawa niyan, build, which is, of course, a result of a serious and strong anti-corruption campaign. The BIR and the Bureau of Customs, marami pa rin pong corruption dyan. Pero it is only this term that they have continually hit their revenue targets every month for over a year because money or revenue is going straight to the to government coffers, no longer in the pockets of corrupt.
Because Greco, there are a lot of critics who were saying that yes, these corrupt officials are taken out from their positions, but they're reappointed or recycled to other positions.
Well, there were officials na ganun po, pero hindi po lahat. Those officials that were reappointed, kasi po kami mga ano lang po kami, yung recommendatory lang po ang PACC. So if our principal does not agree with our findings, yun lang po ang kapangyarihan namin. Pero ito pong mga opisyal na to na sinasabi nila nga na-reappoint, hindi po nawala ang kaso niyan sa amin at naisampa po namin sa Office of the Ombudsman yan. If we believe na sa amin may kaso sila like Secretary Duque, Secretary La Peña, sasabi lang nire-recycle. Pero as far as we were concerned, we gave our report, we gave our recommendation, and then it was forwarded to the Ombudsman for the case has been filed. And yun lang po ang limit talaga ng kapangyarihan namin. We want to do more. Yun nga sabi namin, nag-uusap kami ng Pangulo, sabi ko, boss, kulang talaga ang kapangyarihan. Kung if we just had the power to send these guys to jail, they'd be all in jail right now.
All right.
Sabi niya, yan ang sabihin mo at gawin mo sa Senado.
So, Greco, if you become senator, in your view, how should the government fight this war on drugs? Should it continue to adopt an ironclad, no-nonsense anti-drug policy?
Definitely, sir. That's the way to go. And in the proper implementation of RA 9164 or 9165 or the anti-drug abuse, setting up the anti-drug abuse councils down to the barangay anti-drug abuse council and the anti-drug board of the local governments will strengthen the fight against corruption. Against drugs. Dalawa po kasi yan, yung suppression, yung nakikita nating tukhang, at yung intervention po ito po yung organizing the communities to come together and fight corruption, conducting your anti-drug campaign and strengthening, empowering the families, the local governments, the barangay to monitor and operate anti-corruption, anti-drugs operations po, both suppressive and interventive.
But Greco, a lot of the people have been caught for drugs, whether users or sellers, suppliers, have been basically, our kababayans in the marginalized part of society. If you are a senator, will you also push for the drug users and the drug suppliers who belong to the upper echelons of society?
Lahat po, sir. The law does not distinguish between rich and poor, male and female. Pag sinabi po kasi nila mas marami nahuhuli for drugs na maliliit, ganun din po ang corruption eh. Bakit mas marami nadadampot at nahuhuling maliit? Because we do not distinguish between high ranking or low ranking. If you get into corruption, then we catch you. Get into drugs, then we catch you. The thing is, mas marami po talaga mga kababayan natin ang physically na mahihirap, physically umahawak ng droga at nagtatransact rather than the big bosses and the thugs that transact drugs or get into corruption without actually holding money.
So what will you do, Greco, to find out if these rich people are holding the drugs? Because like what you said, ang nakikita lang ng pulis, ang humahawak ng droga are our poor kababayans. How will you try to find out that the rich are also holding drugs or are using drugs?
We have to cure the law, These rich people use money to transact drugs and also to corrupt. And our laws and the equipments of the Philippine National Police, offices like us, does not have in the power and the authority and the equipments, to follow the money. That's what I'm saying. You want to know who's into drugs, you follow the money, but then restricted po ang ating batas. So we have to cure that law for people and for people who gets involved in drugs, who gets involved in corruption. That law should not apply to them. Ito pong yung mga bank secrecy laws should not apply to them because they're a threat to national security. They're criminals.
And of people use drugs because they don't have jobs, Greco. And right now, more than 4.5 million of our kababayans do not have jobs, have lost their jobs because of the pandemic. And how will you try to jumpstart the economy and create jobs through legislation if you become senator?
Thank you, sir. We really need to address job creation and development and bring up the economy. There are many ways. We have to cure economic and trade policies. We have to strengthen the fight against corruption and red tape, because when red tape and corruption goes down, business and development goes up, projects goes up, more services go up, more businesses come in. Number two, when I was in Berkeley I was studying in Berkeley, the Venture Capital Fund was a very famous system in the United States that put in money for businesses to invest in entrepreneurship, to invest in medium and small medium businesses. We can bring that here if we can simplify and consolidate and digitize, properly implement the ARTA law, strengthen the ARTA law, strengthen the anti-corruption fight. These businesses and these funds will be available para po bumalik ang negosyo, bumalik ang trabaho ng tao. And thirdly, we have to work on our taxes. I've been talking about this from 2013. The 10% flat tax will lower down tax rate and simplify it, bring more revenue for people and more revenue for government. So these are some of the economic and trade policies that I wish, if God allows, took me to bring to the Senate.
All right, Greco, we will have to take the short break and we will continue this up-close conversation with you. And also up ahead, an explosion at Mount Pinatubo. We'll have the details next. And President Duterte commemorates Bonifacio Day for the second and last time in his 6-year term. Keep it right here on CNN Philippines. News you can use, news you can trust. This is the final word on CNN Philippines. I'm Rico Hizon. Still with us tonight for an up-close conversation, senatorial aspirant Greco Belgica. Greco, for this particular portion, you'll only have to answer me with a yes or a no. No explanations. Let's start off. Do you favor easier public access to the SALN of the President, Vice President, and members of Congress?
Yes.
Do you support lifting foreign ownership limits in the Constitution?
Yes.
Do you favor the reimposition of the death penalty for drug-related crimes?
Yes, for all heinous crimes, including corruption.
Do you favor resuming peace talks with the communist rebels?
Yes, for all Filipinos, yes.
Should a sitting president be allowed to run for the Senate?
Yes.
Should the country be more aggressive in protecting its maritime interests in the West Philippine Sea?
Yes.
And finally, Greco, your final word on why our kababayan should elect you to the Senate. You have 30 seconds.
Sa atin pong mga kababayan, una-una, vote wisely, know your candidates. Alamin niyo po ang kanilang nakaraan, alamin niyo po ang kanilang nagawa na, kanilang track record at kanilang pong plano. The future is in your hand. Ako po, I've been in government service for 20 years and I will bring a stronger anti-corruption campaign in the Senate and make sure na lahat ng iniimbestigahan natin ay napukulong at napaparusahan. At kung pagpapalain ng Diyos, ibabalik po natin ang parusang kamatayan sa karumal-dumal na krimen at korupsyon. Maraming salamat po.
Senatorial aspirant Greco Belhica, thank you so much for joining us on Up Close. This is the final word on CNN Philippines. I'm Rico Hizon. Still with us tonight for an up-close conversation, senatorial aspirant Greco Belhica. Greco, for this particular portion, you'll only have to answer me with a yes or a no. No explanations. Let's start off. Do you favor easier public access to the SALN of the President, Vice President, and members of Congress?
Yes.
Do you support lifting foreign ownership limits in the Constitution?
Yes.
Do you favor the reimposition of the death penalty for drug-related crimes?
Yes, for all heinous crimes, including corruption.
Do you favor resuming peace talks with the communist rebels?
Yes, for all Filipinos, yes.
Should a sitting president be allowed to run for the Senate?
Yes.
Should the country be more aggressive in protecting its maritime interests in the West Philippine Sea?
Yes.
And finally, Greco, your final word on why our kababayan should elect you to the Senate. You have 30 seconds.
Sa atin pong mga kababayan, una-una, vote wisely, know your candidates. Alamin niyo po ang kanilang nakaraan, alamin niyo po ang kanilang nagawa na, kanilang track record at kanilang pong plano. The future is in your hand. Ako po, I've been in government service for 20 years and I will bring a stronger anti-corruption campaign in the Senate and make sure na lahat ng iniimbestigahan natin ay napukulong at napaparusahan. At kung pagpapalain ng Diyos, ibabalik po natin ang parusang kamatayan sa karumal-dumal na krimen at korupsyon. Maraming salamat po.
Senatorial aspirant Greco Belhica, thank you so much for joining us on Up Close.